everyone, I'm so sorry it's been a while since I've been on here. I went on vacation. I have not edited the footage I got from that, but I did get some. A few reasons that I haven't shot is because I did lose my tripod while I was on vacation, which was just an excuse for me to buy a better one, so it's not that big of a deal. But the other reason is because my bookshelf looked like this. And all of my books were sitting on my couch, like this. So today I rearranged them, and now my shelves look like this. And just because I wasn't filming does not mean that I did not keep busy book-wise. I did enough during this last month that I need to do separate videos for my haul and my wrap-up. Today I'm shooting my wrap-up, and then I will shoot and edit and upload my book haul video tomorrow. During the month of August, I happened to read 14 books. I did get a nice start on vacation. I started off with a really good book this month. The first book I started off this month is Born of Night by Sherilyn Kenyon. Now, I've read a lot of Sherilyn Kenyon books. There's about 30, I think, to her Dark Hunter, Dream Hunter, and Were Hunter series, and I've read all but the newest of the Chronicles of Nick book. I got this book last month, I believe, and I had not read it immediately because I was very, very worried that because I like the other Sherilyn Kenyon books so much, that I would not like this one quite as much. I had nothing to worry about. I read this book in a day on my vacation in the car. I got this done in one sitting, and it was fantastic. The second book that I read was one that I, again, was not quite looking forward to reading. I was really worried about this one, but one of my favorite booktubers, the Little Book Owl, started herself a book club, and it was the first book, so I had to join in and I read it. And that book is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I was worried about this one because it didn't seem like a book that I would particularly like. It has to do a lot around video games, and it just didn't seem like one that I wanted to read. Pretty much the world has gotten so bad that people have progressed to living in a virtual world. But I'd heard nothing but great things, so I went through and I read it. I actually really quite enjoyed it. I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. Much, much better than I was expecting it to be. It helped that one of the very first pop culture references in it is to Dead Man's Party by Oingo Boingo, and it's a song that was shown to me by a band director when I was in high school, and it helped me get into this book that I got the first reference to the 80s pop culture that was in it. It's a good one. I'm happy that I own a physical copy of this book. Book 3 that I read during the month of August is Alpha and Omega by Patricia Briggs. I love this book. This is like my 3rd or 4th time reading this book. First time listening to it, but 3rd or 4th time going through this story. And Alpha and Omega is just the short story that starts off the Alpha and Omega series, which follows Anna and Charles. Book 4 for the month of August is a Doctor Who book. That book is called The Feast of the Drowned by Stephen Cole. I was not too impressed with this book. It was 2.5 hours to listen to it, and I got through it mostly only because David Tennant read it in his Scottish accent and stopped and did his English accent for the Doctor when he was playing the Doctor. I was not too impressed with the storyline, but it was enjoyable to listen to because of who was reading it. That was all that I read while I was on vacation, and then I got back, I finally got to go shopping, and I bought book 2 of the League series by Sherilyn Kenyon, which is Born of Fire. I pretty much read this whole series this month. You will see a bit in a few, there's a few more books before I finished it, but I did. I read this whole series this month because I could not put them down. Next on the list is Shadow and Bone by Leah Bardgo. I don't really know how to pronounce that last name. It was not as great as I had expected it to be, but it was still a very enjoyable read. I loved the setting in it, where she based it off of Russia, was the reason that I actually picked it up, and that delivered. It was a beautiful world. I kind of think I might have fallen in love with the wrong character in this triangle. I liked the Darkling better than I liked the guy she ended this book with. So I'm curious to see how their relationship goes, and I do plan on finishing this book. I will own the whole trilogy. I enjoyed it, and I would actually recommend it. After Shadow and Bone, I picked up Born of Ice by Sherilyn Kenyon. It is book 3 in her League series. Then, as soon as I finished Born of Ice, I picked up and read Born of Shadows, which is the next book in the series. Then picked up Born of Silence by Sherilyn Kenyon, which is the, of course, next book in that series. After I finished Born of Shadows, I read In Other Worlds by Sherilyn Kenyon, which has a short story that actually fits in after book 3 of the League series. The name of the League short story that is in the book In Other Worlds is Fire and Ice. It also had another short story in it from the Weir Hunter series. It's not one of my favorite stories. It is called A Dragon Swan. The last short story in the book is called Nightly Dreams. After that, I read Cloak and Silence by Sherilyn Kenyon, which is another short story from the League series. It happens right after Born of Silence, and actually it kind of happens during Born of Silence. After that, I picked up The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. It was the Booksplosion book of the month, and so I read it. I had been looking forward to it, and now all that is needed is for me to buy it so that I can actually own a physical copy, because I loved this book. It was beautifully written. It was a little bit slow, but sometimes I like that in a book, for it to make me have to slow down and read through it, where I can't rush through it like I'd done all month with the League series. It is a little bit of a love story. The way that it was written and delivered, I think, was fairly well perfect. After The Night Circus, I finally finished The Hobbit, which I had actually started back during the Booktubeathon readathon. I got about 200 pages in during the Booktubeathon and put it down, and since I'm not particularly fond of J.R.R. Tolkien's writing style, I had not picked it up. But I wanted a book that I knew I could finish and get another one through, and since I only had 100 pages left in this, I went ahead and finished it. I am actually really, really proud of myself for finishing The Hobbit, because I had struggled with it so much. J.R.R. Tolkien's not going to be on my reading list anytime soon. And last but not least, I read Born of Fury by Sherilyn Kenyon. It is book 7 in the League series, and the last one out. It is brand new. It was a great book. The way that Sherilyn Kenyon writes her stories is that each book is its own individual contained story. You can read any of her books in any order that you want to, because they will fill you in on all the information you need, and they can be standalone books. However, they happen in the same universe among friends. The first book, Born of Night, is Nikirian's story. His crew, that consists of Sin, Hawk, and Darling, rescue a princess from a world. Nikirian falls in love with her. Sin calls him an idiot, and in Born of Night, Sin goes missing for a few-week period. No idea what happens, does not tell you in that book. But when you get to Born of Fire, that is Sin's story, and it tells you how he falls in love with Sahara. all of the people know each other and they pop up in each other's books, and it does actually follow a timeline. Born of Ice and the short story that is in Other Worlds takes place in the future. There's 2 generations in the League series, and one of them is from the future. She does intend to finish out that first generation before she writes through the second generation, which kind of makes me sad because I liked the switching around and getting to know the kids of the people that just got together. Just be warned that if you're going to look for them in the bookstore, they are shelved under romance. There is sex in them. That is all that I actually have for you. I will see you guys tomorrow for my book haul, which will be bigger than usual because August is my birth month. My birthday was August 20th, and my fiance Lee got me the best birthday present ever. Books! So I'll see you with that tomorrow. Have a great night. Bye!